Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. Today we'll be previewing the first test between India versus England. It's getting close now, just a couple of days left. The players are out of quarantine and practicing. I have with me my co-host, Mr. Aziz. How are you doing?
Good. Looking forward to some cricket.
Oh, I'm so excited, man. The last time India played, it was like one of the greatest series that we've seen. And now a really good England team coming to the subcontinent. And, it's going to be a challenge. One thing that we probably learned over the last couple of months is that don't take any team lightly, because a second string Indian team, especially with like such a new bowling attack, won away in Australia against a full strength Australia side. And
Yeah.
me, myself, I couldn't imagine that could happen, but it happened. So this England side, you can't take it lightly. But are you looking forward to this? Do you give India the advantage going into the series?
Yeah, just because it's in India. If it was in England, it would completely
Yeah,
different story.
yeah,
But because it's in India, I think that India will go into the series as favorites. But it will be a harder challenge than it was against Australia. I know
you think so?
yeah, I think so. I think that this England side is a lot more potent. I think that the English batting, even though they haven't, or a lot of the batsmen haven't played in India, I just feel like the batting unit as a whole and the way that Root is leading the side, I think it's good. It's going to cause issues, and their bowling side as well. Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broad, Jofra Archer, their fast bowling unit is pretty good, and the likes of Jack Leach and Tom Bass, they'll need to step it up. If their spinners can bowl well, I think India will struggle. The only problem is these guys have not played in India, and it's going to be difficult. And Indians are generally better players of spin, so it's not going to be as easy as it was for them in Sri Lanka. So they're gonna have to take it up a few notches if they wanna challenge this Indian side. But I think it'll be a more difficult test than it was against Australia, in my opinion.
Yeah, and but one thing for India is that the players, the first team players are coming back. Bumrah is coming back. Ishant
Yeah.
Sharma, Ashwin, Virat Kohli. These guys all will be probably in the side if there's no surprise. These guys will definitely play the
Right.
first test match. Yeah, so I think that will give India a bit of an advantage. But I agree, you can't take this England team lightly, especially in these conditions, because they have some good players of spin. We've seen, thanks to the IPL, the likes of Stokes, Butler. They play spin well. Root anyway plays spin really well. We saw him in
Yeah.
Sri Lanka. But this bowling attack won't be that easy for England, to face the likes of Ashwin, the likes of Bumrah, Siraj, Ishant, even I think Washington Sundar, Akshar Patel, they won't be easy, and Kuldeep Yadav. If it
Yeah.
gets to start turning, it's going to be very challenging for them. But I was thinking, let's start off discussing a few battles. I think
Mhm.
let's start off with the most epic battle for this kind of series in the recent years is Virat Kohli versus Jimmy Anderson.
Yeah.
Anderson troubled him a lot, especially in the beginning of his career, but now Virat Kohli um, hasn't mastered batting against Anderson, but he's learned now not to give his wicket away. I think he's been good in the last couple of series. So how do you look at this battle? Anderson is 38, 39 years old, but he keeps getting the wickets. So it's Indian conditions, but this guy is very experienced as a bowler. So how do you see this battle panning out?
So for me, Virat is a quick learner, and he's an absolutely experienced chap. Like he will not repeat the same mistake over and over again, and he's learned from his mistakes against Jimmy Anderson. So I think that this will be something that Virat will probably have at the back of his mind, because he has gotten out to Jimmy a few times. But I think that Virat's up for it. I just feel like Virat knows he's up against it. I mean, in terms of the captaincy, there's questions that are starting to trickle in. His batting note, there's no doubt about it, but I think he's gonna show. This is gonna be the series where he really wants to show up as a batsman as a captain. So I think that Virat will win this one.
I'm hearing some rumors that there's going to be a hint of grass on the Chennai pitch. You definitely don't want that with the likes of Anderson, Archer coming in broad as well. You probably want a drier wicket, right? Maybe not a dust bowl, but at least either a flat wicket which turns square, or like a dust
The
bowl, but
there's a
not
there's
a.
a yeah there's a new curator apparently. He's debuting first time in the Chennai stadium.
Yeah, that's why I
So
wanted to know from you. It's your
so
hometown, so you
yeah,
where's
I
the
don't know much
inside
about
information?
I don't know much about what's up with the curator, but it's going to be interesting because in the past Chennai has had some shocking pitches, and it's kind of uh, been really abysmal in some of the ways that they picked up their pitches and stuff like that. So hopefully, like this new guy is probably gonna give us some kind of, I mean, you don't want to hint a grass or anything, but at least at the same time you kind of want some assistance for the bowlers on day one. You want it to be a competitive game, so even in the Indian bowlers, likes of Bumrah, Shant, these guys will really use the conditions very well, because we've also improved as a bowling unit significantly.
Yeah.
And if you can go into day 3, day 4 with spin, I think the likes of Ashwin and Kuldeep and Washington, I think they'll probably be able to get the better of these England batsmen. So I think that a little bit of grass is not a bad idea, especially if you're bowling first. On a morning day one, with
Because
it nipping
India do
around a
have
little
the
bit.
bowlers as well to.
Yeah. Yeah, and the likes of Bumrah, you're really making the most of it. You really don't know. You get a couple of quick wickets, and you can get them out for the 200, 250 runs, and then advantage India going into day two. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, and it won't be a very bad idea to have some grass. But I think coming back to Virat Kohli's situation, I think that he will be able to boss Jimmy Anderson around. At the same time, I think that Jimmy Anderson is an absolutely incredible bowler. He has the most respect amongst any bowlers because of the kind of bowling that he comes. You know, Series in, series out, he's always bowling those chaffers, and he's always taking those wickets. I just feel like Virat Kohli will be able to handle him a little bit better than some of the others, maybe.
Yeah, I think if Anderson does well in this series, he has to be named like the greatest test bowler, like because of his age and he's done it everywhere. He's won a series in India and Australia as well. But I think the fact that he's doing it at this age, in day in and day out, like it just
Yeah,
shows he's one of the top bowlers going around in the world, and incredible. And he'll be up against Virat Kohli, who's an incredible batsman as well. So it'll be
yeah,
a very interesting contest. And also another, just quickly, if Anderson might not play every game, so Broad will probably come in, and Broad has also had a decent record against Kohli. I think he's dismissed him 5 times in Test
yeah,
matches,
yeah,
six overall. So that will also be a decent contest. But like you said, Virat Kohli is a champion batsman, and I think he has a point to prove now. And he'll probably and he had a really good series against England back home in 2016, if I'm not mistaken.
right.
But yeah, I think moving on to the next battle, Joe Root versus Ashwin.
Yeah,
The reason I picked this, I think Joe Root is a really good player of spin, and Ashwin has just been like on sensational form. The confidence he'll have after dismissing Steve Smith, he'll be over the moon right now. And but he won't take this team lightly. And if he can do what he did in Australia, in India, he's a different beast altogether, Ashwin. We've always said that he's a much better player at home. But the fact that he's done so well in Australia just recently, it'll give him a lot of confidence going into this series against Joe Root, who also scored a double hundred in the subcontinent.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what Joe Root, the double century that he scored was against very ordinary Sri Lankan bowling, newer bowlers. I don't think any of them were too experienced, and he's going to come up against a different beast in Ashwin. I think Ashwin, with the confidence that he has and the skill and his graft is something else. His craft is something else. So it's going to be a very, very interesting battle. As an Indian fan, I'd hope that Ashwin comes out on top more often than not. But I think that Joe Root will give him a thing or two to think about.
Yeah, I think the way Root, his foot movement is really good. I think against spin, so that'd be very interesting to see. But Ashwin knows these conditions inside out, and this is his hometown, Chennai. I think
Yeah.
first couple of Test matches, he'll be very comfortable. But again, after coming from that high, you want to maintain that. You don't want to take it for granted as an Indian team.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
think it's very, very important that they get that behind them. Yes, it is an incredible. It was an incredible match. It was an incredible series. Everything was great. But I think
Yeah.
it's time to move on from that and
I
get
think
get
that's
the
the most
focus
difficult
back.
part.
It's going to be very hard, but it's going to be very, very important to bring that focus back and try to get your game plans ready
Yeah.
and kind of stick to and execute them.
Yeah.
But
The
very different
advantage.
conditions as well.
Yeah, the advantage is Virat Kohli is coming in fresh, Ishant is coming fresh, so I think that will be an
Yeah.
advantage. There's some fresh players coming in. But any set plans you think for the likes of Root? We saw against Australia against Smith there was a leg side line, even against Labuschagne, set a leg side field. But here these are different conditions, different
and
pitches and
and Root
everything.
sweeps it well, so they're
Yeah.
gonna have to they will have their work cut out for themselves. They will have to go deep into those videos and try to find any kind of small weakness that they see, and kind of try and capitalize on that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Another battle that I want to talk about is Ben Stokes versus Jasprit Bumrah. Bumrah is the first time he's playing in India, a test match,
Yeah,
a test series. This is just incredible. He's never
yeah,
played at home. He's coming up against Ben Stokes. The reason why I'm going with this because we've seen Bumrah coming back for his second spell, and that's probably when Ben Stokes will come, like maybe in Bumrah's third or fourth spell. I'm not sure, but
yeah.
it'll be the semi-new ball, I'm guessing. So the ball might reverse in those conditions. So that contest, how do you see that coming? Ben Stokes, incredible batsman. We saw what he did in Leeds. He's played the IPL, so in Indian conditions, whether that's the white, even though that's the white ball, this is the red ball. Still, he has an idea of these conditions. He can play spin well. He's played fast bowling well. So your thoughts on this battle, Bumrah versus Ben Stokes?
So for me, Ben Stokes is a player to watch out for this England team. I mean, he has been absolutely spectacular for this English side. He's also fresh and he's ready to go. He's raring to go because he hasn't played in Sri Lanka, so he's raring to
Yeah.
go, and he's looking good. But he will come up against a very strong and very rejuvenated Indian bowling attack. Not only Bumrah, I think the likes of Ishant, Ashwin, and all will try to get. There'll be a price scalp for for whoever gets it. So I think it's going to be an interesting challenge. I think that the way we can handle the likes of the three important guys, the Root, Butler, and Ben Stokes. They are the three important guys. If we can get these guys out cheaply in games, we'll try to see more advantage in the favor of India. So I think that all three of them are going to be interesting at the same time. But Ben Stokes, yeah, an absolute champion batsman. Getting him out, I think it'll be very important, and like similar to Root, they will have the work cut out and they will have to find any kind of weakness that they can, and they really will have to ring it home from there.
And the dangerous thing about him is that he scores at a quick rate, so that can immediately influence the team to set defensive fields, because these guys, especially Ben Stokes and even Butler to a certain extent, they
Yeah.
score at a rapid rate. So if they're there for 100, balls, they'll probably score 60, 70, 80 runs, and they'll start building quickly. So that's very important. The rate at the squad, it's a test match. You have a lot of time, but it does put pressure on the opposition team.
Absolutely, any kind of 4 runs and over suddenly makes it tricky and makes the fielding side start to think of defensive fields, and that could create more issues in terms of him punching it around for singles and kind of just keep rotating the strike and not getting those wickets. So it's going to be important, and he's a smart guy. I just hope that India are aggressive against him for a longer period of time, because that's how you will get his wicket. If you try to be defensive with him, I think he'll walk all over you. So you're gonna have to be aggressive with him. At the same time, it's gonna be have to be a pretty decent balance of not overly aggressive, where he can really get off with a few big shots, but at the same time decently aggressive, so that you always in with a chance with him.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you there. That wraps up that battle. One more specific battle I want to talk about, then we can do a bit more general battle. But this is Jofra Archer with the new ball versus Rohit Sharma. This is going to be really exciting. Jofra Archer, I think he's playing in the subcontinent maybe for the first time in Test matches. I'm not sure about that, but he still had that pace we saw in the white pitches in the IPL. You could see that pace. He has that, and he'll have that same pace in India. But it'll be important for Root to control his, not control, but like manage his workload, Jofra Archer's workload, and he's coming up against Rohit Sharma. This guy is the most talented batsman, but he has lapses in concentration, Rohit Sharma. So how do you see this battle panning out? Extreme pace versus a quality opening batsman.
It's funny because both of them have lapses in concentration. So it's gonna be who has it at the right time, I
Both
guess.
extremely talented, but have those
And
inconsistencies
yeah,
in them.
because if Archer doesn't get a wicket in his first 10-15 overs, you've seen him get frustrated and spray it around a little bit, which is not what you want, obviously, as your premium top order bowler against Rohit Sharma, who's absolutely incredibly talented, but he has the one shot in him that can lead to a shocking dismissal. So I really don't know what to make of this. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be very interesting to see who comes out on top. But I think that this will be a good battle to watch out for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think Archer will be fresh, like you mentioned about
Yeah.
Stokes. He'll also be fresh. He didn't play in Sri Lanka, so it'll be very important to see how that happens. And Rohit Sharma, I think if he plays the first 20, 30 balls, he did that in Australia and got
Yeah.
out, but after he was set. But I think here with the Indian conditions, he'll be a bit more comfortable at ease. So if he can play that new ball, see that off, I think he has the potential to score those big hundreds. So I think that will be very interesting. And just lastly, Rahane and Pujara, we have to mention them. They were like amazing for India in the away series, but now it'll be a different battle for them, more against Leach and against Dom Bess. It'll be spin more than fast bowling. I don't think Pujara will get as many body blows in this series, but how do you see them playing against spin? Pujara uses feet a lot to Lion, and Rahane was very aggressive against Lion as well. Do you think the same approach against these spinners?
They're gonna have to do it because these guys are newer spin bowlers. If you let them dictate terms, they start getting confident. And you really don't want that. I think anyone who's coming up against these two spinners will have to be aggressive and try to try to be aggressive against them and try to take the game towards to them. I mean, try to make them think a little bit more. So if they can do that, and the likes of not only the likes of Pujara and Ajinkya, I think the likes of Virat, Rohit, Shuman Gill, these guys are absolutely incredible players of spin. So whoever it is, they just keep pushing themselves to have the dominance against the spinners, and that will win them the series. I think if they can dominate the spinners, I think that they will win the series.
Yeah, okay, that's a really good point. I agree with you there. I think that's it, right? Like, no matter how well Anderson, Archer bowl, they'll need to get backed up by the spinners. So,
Yeah,
that
because the spinners are going to bowl you those 40-50 overs in each inning. So
yeah, and
those
they're
are
your
going to be
wicket
the
taking
critical
options in
ones.
these conditions.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and just to wrap it up, let's do quick predictions if you're down for the Test series. Before I ask you the result of the first Test match and the series as a whole, first innings of the if England's batting first, for example, who's the highest run scorer in that innings and the highest wicket taker?
Highest wicket taker Ashwin with 3 wickets.
Okay, let's see overall
And
match. You want to do overall or you don't want to do
okay, yeah,
innings to innings? It's
let's
up
do
to you.
let's do overall match. I think Ashwin gets a 5 for in no. I think Ashwin will get like 7 wickets total,
Yeah.
and Shubman Gill will have a century in his first innings, and he'll have a 50 in his second.
So he'll
So
be the
I think
highest
he'll
scorer
end
for
up. Yeah,
India.
I think he'll end up with about 212 runs.
Wow. So I'm going Don. You're going Shubman Gill as your leading run scorer for
Yeah,
India for the match, and
yeah,
Ashwin as the leading wicket
leading
taker.
wicket taker. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm going.
and
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
and
and
for
yeah,
England,
sorry.
I think for England, yeah, Jimmy Anderson with 5, and in the match, and then I want to say Joe Root, but I have a feeling he'll struggle in the first game. So I'm going to go with Stokes with 50s in both innings. So about 120.
120.
Yeah.
I think for me, England will be Joe Root, and for the bowler, I'll probably go Leach.
Hmm.
Just things turn, and then for India, I think batting, I'll have to go. It's between for me, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. I'll probably go. Oh my god, this stuff. uh, let's just go Virat Kohli. I think he'll be fresh and raring to go,
Yeah.
and he'll want to make a statement early on. So I'll probably go Virat Kohli as the leading run scorer in the first match, and the leading wicket taker. Um, I'm gonna do something different. If he plays Kuldeep Yadav,
Yeah. I was thinking about that. I have a feeling you'd say that. But
yeah.
if he plays, I think he will
Yeah.
be well. He
If
will
he
do well.
doesn't play, then whoever plays instead of him, he'll take my wickets for me
Yeah,
and give
fair
me the
enough.
points
Fair enough.
against you.
Yeah, just a point about just a point about Shubman Gill. He's already made the Forbes 30 under 30. That's just something else. He's only
Wow.
21 years old. Yeah.
Are you comfortable with him opening because he's a middle order batsman by nature? So are you comfortable with him opening despite him doing brilliantly in Australia?
I think until Pujara is playing, let him open. Then number 3 is his for the taking.
Yeah. And for him, he just needs to keep on going because Agarwal also had a great start to his career. Prithvi Shaw as well had a great start to his Test career, scored 100 as well. So
Yeah.
Shubman Gill will need to understand that people will come up with plans. They will try to find weaknesses, but he needs to keep on improving. One a dip in form can happen, but he needs to fight back from it. So I think he's a
Absolutely.
highly talented player. I'm also really excited to see him. And just for this game, first Test match in Chennai, your prediction: who's going to win the match?
India for sure.
India's going to win in your hometown. That's amazing. And then series,
India
how much?
comfortably. No one's gonna. They're gonna win it comfortably. I think 3-1 to India.
3-1 to India. All right. That's really good. I
I'm,
think
gi-
I'll.
I'm yeah. I'm giving them one game only because some Ben Stokes has it in him to just take one game away from you
And
every
I
single
think
second
that
away.
game might be the pink ball test match in Ahmedabad, the third test match,
Yeah,
if I'm not
yeah.
mistaken. Third or fourth. Yeah, I think
It's
it's
the
the third
third.
test match.
It's the third one. Yeah,
So that I think the England bowlers under lights, they can cause issues
yeah.
in that game. But if will India take it till then, or just bat it out and then put pressure on them? I don't know how it's going to work out because India also do have bowlers to trouble the England batsmen under lights as well. So it will be
Yeah.
interesting to see how that goes. But I think if there's any match, that match England have a good chance. But I feel India will probably win 2-1. the test series. I wanted to say 4-0, but we saw what happened in Australia. A lot of Australian commentators saying 4-0, and I really think this England team will give them a tough fight. But all the games, it could be a 4-0 with India, with all the games being very close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It could be like that, because when India went to England, there was, I think, 3 out of the 4 games were close, but India lost that series 4-1. So
You're expecting a draw, though? I think there's going to be no rain because it's in India, unless something unforeseen happens. But I don't think that
so
anyone
I'm,
survives
I'm,
5.
I'm taking a risk over there. I think maybe in Ahmedabad or something will be like flat the whole way through. But if there's no rain, then I think there will be results. So it'll be either, there will be a result. So it'll be either be 2-2 or 3-1, whatever. But I'm probably just hoping for one. I'm not hoping, but I just feel there might be a draw somewhere if there's a flat
I
track.
did predict Australia to win 2. I did predict India to win 2-1 against Australia.
Yeah,
so I
that
was
was
the only one in the whole world that got it right, I think.
but
But I was just out of bias.
yeah. To be honest with you, I'm sure people did say like India might win this and that, but no one really believed it. I honestly felt Australia is going to win the series. I probably predicted 2-1 for Australia, and then I thought 4-0. But after the Adelaide Test match, credit to India, and that's why I don't want to take England lightly. I think they will give it a fair thing, but India should be favorites going into this Test match.
100%.
Any last thoughts?
No, just looking forward to it. Just little less than 2 days, so looking forward to it.
Change your timings again. Sleep timings, we've got to adjust them again, and it's those late nights in North America. So it'll be fun. I'll catch you during the Test match for the duration of the Test match, and take care and enjoy the game.
You as well. Take care.
Thank you.